very proud of our football team. Start to finish, started great, which what we challenged them to do. 4 touchdowns, the first 4 drives on offense. Defense had a couple 3-and-outs in there, I believe, which was huge to see the early momentum. You got to credit for Virginia Tech for battling back, which is what they've done all year. And when it got dicey right there as the third quarter turned to the fourth quarter, where it really could have gone either way, our guys really imposed their will on the football game, made all the winning key plays in the fourth quarter to secure our victory. A lot of gutsy performances, but more than anything, I'm just proud of our seniors, proud that they get to leave Hard Rock Stadium for the last time as winners. And just their leadership this week, the way that they have set the example for the young guys on this team will be their legacy in a season where we didn't win as many games as we wanted to. But in terms of laying foundations, I think the way that these guys have continued to play hard and set the example is very, very beyond commendable. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Thank you, Coach. If you've got a question for Coach Manny Diaz, please use the hand raise function on Zoom. And Coach, we're going to start with Tim Reynolds from the Associated Press. Tim, go ahead.
Manny, you've talked a lot about the resiliency of this group, whether it was all the close games and all that. Does tonight kind of epitomize what you've been talking about? I mean, you had to put last week to bed. Obviously, Blake's news on Monday. There's tons of noise, speculation, and all that other stuff. Does this kind of epitomize what you want, this team to be as far as focusing on just what's in front of them and not anything external?
Yeah, and tonight, to your point, tonight was really just an extension of the week, because it couldn't have just happened tonight if they didn't, if we didn't have our Sunday the way our Sunday went, and if we didn't have our Tuesday, Wednesday practices the way that they went. I thought the team was intentional all week of preparing themselves to play very well. But yes, in terms of your point, the word that you hear coaches throw around all the time, maybe sometimes it's overused, is culture. And we said this would be a culture over strategy game, and that our culture eventually would see us through. And again, even tonight, obviously they made a run. There was a series, where we weren't playing at our best. But the words that you mentioned, the resiliency, the mental toughness, the resolve, not flinching, all those things as a coach. I mean, you're so proud to coach a football team that exerts those principles.
Have to follow quick, Manny. The guys doing the swan dive or whatever we want to call it on the field in celebration when the clock hits zeros and you're smiling, guys are trying to carry guys off. Just what will that moment mean? You have games left, but what will that moment mean to you about this season? Thank you.
Well, it was the reward for the older guys, for the seniors, because they could choose, right? They could choose. And we've had guys here in the past that have chosen, and they've not always, finished what we started. And that's kind of what we had challenged them and the team. You start something, you finish it. And you can't erase what happened last weekend. And no one will ever forget what happened last week. A lot of those guys had never lost to those guys. But what we said is we can win our last home game. And that's an everybody goal. Everybody had to play a part. The true freshmen had to play a part. Everybody had to play a part, and everybody did. So I don't know where that came from. And we're going to have one game a year that's going to be a monsoon. It just happened to be tonight. And I guess that was, turned into a slip and slide spontaneously.
Coach, we're going to go next to Mike DePasquale from WSVN. Mike, go ahead for Coach Diaz.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations. I want to ask you, you said during the week that everything was about Virginia Tech, despite all the speculation. This is special for your team tonight. Can you just describe how special this was for you tonight in the midst of everything that's going on?
The only way I think about it in that context is you're just proud of it, of a team that has those characteristics we mentioned earlier. This is not, it was about Virginia Tech. It was about our seniors. It was about setting them off the right way. But you don't know, because you look around college football, not everybody competes at the same level week in and week out, especially when results don't go your way. And, we've got an 11-week resume, and there's a lot of things on the resume we don't like. That's for certain. But 11 times out of 11, we've brought it. and our guys have competed. They've played hard for each other. And that to me is as a coaching staff, not me, as a coaching staff, I think that's the thing we're most proudest of.
If I could follow up real quick, that smile on your face at the end of the game, we haven't seen that for a while. For you, just that smile, that jubilation. I mean, this had to be one of the happiest moments of the season for you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a happy night. I can't remember my smile frequency and the intensity of the smile and all that to properly answer your question. But look, and you guys have probably seen something on TV, so I don't know exactly when smile you're talking about. But for me, it was watching the smiles of our seniors. You know, you get done, you walk over there with those guys, and you just see the reactions. You saw the guys getting carried off the field. I mean, seeing Derek King get carried off the field and Derek smile, man, if that doesn't warm your heart, I can't help you. So I think that's the part that was special to me.
Coach, we'll go next to Gary Furman from Kane Sport. Gary, go ahead.
Hey, Manny, how are you? You just spoke about the Derek King, and the season began obviously all about Derek, and has become all about Tyler Van Dyke, and it's really been pretty unbelievable. And he just keeps coming and coming and coming and firing and getting better. If you could talk about that a little bit, and then a second question: a lot of the guys that participated in senior day tonight were not seniors, and if you could just talk a little bit about how that evolved, and have guys declared their futures, and did they ask to be part of senior night, or did you make it optional? If you could just clear that up.
Yeah, we asked. I assume you're talking about guys that would still have a COVID year of eligibility, but guys that have probably competed for 4 years. Is that kind of where you're going with that, Gary?
Yeah. There were just a lot of those guys, like, DJ Ivy, Nesta Silvera, Cam Harris, Frierson, Bubba. They all have eligibility left, but they all participate.
I think in their mind they're seniors. I mean the COVID red shirt was a good rule, and you have to remember, some teams in the Pac-12 I think played 4 or 5 games last year. We played a season. I think our guys, and we will have some guys that have an opportunity to come back, but I think the majority of our guys, I think as the year went on, felt they were ready to move on. But to answer your question, yes, we sort of said, okay, who's going to be a senior for senior day? Because I know they're juniors, but it's a little strange. The first part of your question was what again? Oh, about Tyler. Yeah. I mean, I think two things have happened at once. I think obviously Tyler's development, has been phenomenal. Every week he shows, guts, courage, makes plays, and today was all about the explosive play. But I also think that as an offense in year 2 of this system, I think we've improved. I think everyone is starting to play better around the quarterback, and you see some of the catches that guys are making. Rambo's resurgence to me is as key of a story to our offense. But the biggest thing is that the football team believes that Tyler Van Dyke can lead us, and I think that's been true from day one. And I think that's why our guys play like that. And even when we kind of, like I said today, when we sort of hit that spot right there in the third where we kind of stalled a little bit, we knew we could find the plays to make in the fourth quarter, which ultimately we did.
Coach, last question for you is going to come from Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to ask you, we saw Tyler go into the tent. How concerned were you? It looked like he slipped or something. And then the second question was just about Ryan Rigoni. We saw him go in there and make some pretty great plays for you guys, breaking up the screen pass there.
Yeah. Tyler went to get, like you mentioned, he slipped and he was getting checked up on. And, and that a little bit affected our decision-making process on those last couple of drives of the first half. We can really get into halftime, and see what the status was. And I thought Tyler, again, was very gutsy and courageous coming out in the second half. Ryan's a good football player, and made some really, really key plays. The big time play he made in the first half was sniffing out a screen. They've always got great deceptive red zone screens, and he made a great play on that. Obviously, he made the sack on a green dog in the second half. So we kind of joke, we kind of call him Coach Ryan because he's so intelligent. He wants to be a coach. He sits and talks to us all the time about strategy and the ins and outs of defense. And it was a game where he had a role to play, and I'm proud of him for finding a way to play his role and make plays for us.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.